Think about the last time money kept you up at night. Maybe it was last week, maybe it was last night, maybe it was this morning, before you even got out of bed. Money is the thing almost nobody wants to talk about, and yet it's the thing almost everyone is thinking about. The 23-year-old staring at her student loan balance and wondering how she'll ever afford a place to live is losing sleep over money. The 41-year-old trying to pay for his kid's school and his mother's care is losing sleep over money. The 67-year-old wondering if her savings will last another 20 years is losing sleep over money. The stress is real, and it's everywhere. We all worry about money, but we are not worried about the same things, and that difference is tearing families apart. The more we understand each other's version of that pressure, the less alone we all feel. If you are in your 20s or early 30s right now, the financial anxiety started early. You did not get a different attitude about money than generations before you. You got a different economy. A studio apartment in many major cities now costs more than their parents' first mortgage. In 1980, the average American home cost about 3 times the median annual salary. Today, it costs more than 7 times that salary. Student loan debt in the United States has crossed $1.7 trillion. That number did not exist a generation ago. And yet, here is what young people hear: stop buying coffee, just budget better. We struggle too, you know. Those words carry love. Sometimes they carry frustration, but they also carry a quiet assumption that the rules are the same as they were. They are not. Many were told, go to college, get a degree, get a good job. Many of them did exactly that, and they graduated into a world where the degree came with debt, and the job didn't come with enough pay to service that debt and build a life. The frustration Gen Z feels isn't about wanting luxury. It's about wanting the basics that previous generations could access: a home, some savings, a feeling of forward momentum. The starting line moved, and nobody announced it. Millennials entered the workforce in one of the worst economic periods in modern history. The 2008 financial crisis didn't just cost jobs, it cost momentum. Years of savings that never got started, careers that had to be rebuilt from scratch, home purchases that got delayed by years, sometimes permanently. And then, just as millennials started to find their financial footing, a pandemic. Many millennials are now in their 30s and early 40s, traditionally the wealth-building years, but they're doing it while carrying more debt, with less savings than any previous generation at the same age. They're not struggling because they spent too much on avocado toast. They're struggling because the system they entered was genuinely harder than the one their parents navigated. The math is different, not the attitude. Then there is the generation caught in the middle, Gen X, the generation that grew up hearing, you are on your own. Figure it out. Be tough. Don't complain. And many of them did figure it out. They built careers, they bought homes, they saved what they could, and then life handed them the sandwich. Aging parents who need help, adult children who cannot quite launch yet, and a retirement account that feels not quite enough. 3 financial priorities, 1 income. Gen X also experienced their own version of economic disruption. the dot-com bust, the 2008 crash, corporate downsizing that removed job security as a concept from their working years. They are not asking for sympathy. That is not how they were raised, and quietly, behind the competence and the problem solving, there is a person who is exhausted, carrying financial burdens on multiple fronts, and who wonders if anyone notices how much they are holding. Then there are the people who did everything right. Boomers. They saved, they invested, they did not spend frivolously, they planned, and they are still scared because the fear that lives in older adults around money is not a fear about the past. It is a fear about the future. Many boomers saw their retirement savings devastated in 2008. Many are still working past retirement age, not because they want to, but because they have to. Healthcare costs alone represent a financial anxiety that younger generations haven't fully reckoned with yet. And for boomers who don't have significant savings or pension plans, which is a larger group than people assume, the prospect of aging in an expensive world is genuinely frightening. Boomers struggle with, what if I outlive my savings? What if healthcare costs take everything I built? What if I become a burden to my children? That last one, becoming a burden. That fear drives more financial decisions in older adults than almost anything else. And it is almost never spoken out loud because admitting fear when you are supposed to be the one with wisdom feels like failure. Financial stress doesn't have an age limit, it just wears different clothes. The bridge, what we actually share here, is what nobody says at the dinner table. That 23-year-old looking at her loan balance and the 67-year-old looking at her savings account are feeling the same thing, not the same numbers, not the same problems, the same feeling. That feeling has a name. It is the fear of not being enough, of not having done enough, of being one emergency away from losing what you have built. Money stressed at every age is really a story about security, about wanting to know that you will be okay, that the people you love will be okay. That is not a generational value, that is a human one. Three things that change everything. So what actually helps? Not lectures, not advice that starts with back in my day, not dismissal, not eye rolls. Three things. First, ask before you advise. The most powerful question you can ask someone who is stressed about money is not, have you tried budgeting? It is, what is it actually like for you right now? Second, stop making money a moral test. Struggling financially does not mean someone is lazy. Having savings does not mean someone is greedy. Different outcomes do not mean different character. They often mean different starting points. Third, share your fear, not just your advice. The most connecting thing an older adult can say to a younger one is not, here is what you should do. It is, I was scared too. Here is what helped me. What is scaring you? That is not weakness. That is the beginning of an actual conversation. Money stress is real at every age. The question is whether we let it divide us or whether we finally admit that we are all carrying something. Before you go, I want you to think of one person in your life from a different generation, someone you have never really talked to about money. This week, ask them one question. What was it like for you when you were my age? You might be surprised what they say, and they might be surprised you asked. Drop your answer in the comments below. We read every single one. This is GenSync TV. Different generations, one future. See you next Friday.